Welcome to the October UTA. This podcast is an abbreviated version of the printed Pre-UTA News Brief Bulletin. For specific details about items mentioned here, please see the written version on SharePoint or the copy that was emailed to your personal email address. The Commander's priorities are recruitment, retention, mentorship, and improving wing morale. The Commander's intent is provide funding, equipment, and training to achieve and maintain the combat readiness of 349th Airmen. Special events this UTA. Wing Commander's Call. Colonel Lee Merkel, 349th Air Mobility Wing Commander, and Command Chief Master Sergeant Jimmy Burmeister will host a virtual Wing Commander's Call on Saturday, 17 October from 0900 to 0945 hours via the Wing's Facebook page. Attendance is mandatory. For those who cannot virtually attend during the event, a recorded version will be available on the Wing's Facebook page and SharePoint throughout the UTA. Retirement Ceremonies. Chief Master Sergeant Dewan L. Locke, 17 October at 1430 hours on ZoomGov. Lieutenant Colonel Chris Gold, 17 October at 1500 hours, David Grant Medical Center Auditorium. Senior Master Sergeant Jamie Romero, 17 October at 1500 on ZoomGov. 349th Medical Squadron Assumption of Command Ceremony, 18 October at 1000 hours, David Grant Medical Center Auditorium. The POC is Chief Master Sergeant Bakiran, 424-6475. 55th Aeroport Squadron Assumption of Command Ceremony, 24 October at 0730 hours, Building 921 in the rear parking lot. Promotion Ceremony. Chief Master Sergeant Andrea Young, 18 October at 1100 hours in the MXG Atrium, Building 31. This event is limited to 35 guests. 349th Air Mobility Wing Commander's In-Flight Guide. Wildfire preparation, response, and recovery information is available on the Wing SharePoint page and public website. Find advice, forms, and points of contact by following the links in the written versions of this podcast. Political Activities Guidance. Members on active status are prohibited from participating and strongly encourages all members, to include DoD civilians and reservists not in status, to remain apolitical. In addition, it is not encouraged for any DoD member, regardless of duty status, to voluntarily place themselves in potentially dangerous situations. Operation Security. OPSEC. The protection of non-classified critical information is a full-time responsibility for all Air Force members. OPSEC is about protecting and denying the adversary information that can disrupt, delay, or hamper our operations. Review the 349th Air Mobility Wing Critical Information and Indicators list prior to participating in inspections, exercises, missions, and deployments to identify areas where our collective actions leave signatures or tidbits of information the adversary could exploit to compromise mission success or negatively impact equipment, members, or families. For questions, call Master Sergeant James King at 424-0587. Article 137 Briefing now on ADLS. A computer-based Article 137 UCMJ briefing is now available on ADLS under the Miscellaneous tab. Once your Article 137 training is complete, please ensure you email a copy of the certificate to the 349 Air Mobility Wing /JA org box to receive credit. Also send a copy to your career advisor. If you are an enlisted member of the Armed Forces, then this briefing applies to you. Article 137 states, these articles must be explained upon entry to active duty after a member has completed 6 months of service and at every re-enlistment. Should you complete the briefing and still have questions, please contact the 349th Air Mobility Wing Legal Office at 424-1331. Bylaw Compliance Tap Attendance. All reservists on orders for 30 days or longer must view a Transition Assistance Program video available by using the link in the written version of this podcast. This video captures the bylaw requirements for deployers and families and long-tour MPA-RPA orders participants. Units offering limited in-person support this UTA. The legal office will be offering limited in-person and virtual UTA support by appointment only. For questions or to schedule an appointment, email Lieutenant Colonel Michael Felson, Major John Capps, or Tech Sergeant Christopher Hernandez, or call 424-1331. The following 349th Force Support Squadron offices will offer limited in-person support by appointment only. MPF 424-2345. Testing IPR 424-5993. COM 816-3480. The following 349 Force Support Squadron offices will offer virtual-only support. PSM 424-8425. Career Development, Force Management, WCAA. Call for Out Processing 424-3868. Fitness Assessment and Lodging. Meetings and training events. First Sergeant's Council meeting, Friday, 16 October at 10:30 hours, via Zoom. The POC is Senior Master Sergeant Archia, 816-0337. UTAP's Process Overview Training for all CSSs with development and training flight trainees assigned to their unit on Friday, 16 October at 10:00 hours on ZoomGov. This training will be recorded. 349th Airmen and Family Readiness will provide virtual support, services, and resources throughout the UTA, 424-1616 or 7600. Newcomers Briefing, 17 October, 0900 to 11:30 hours, via ZoomGov. The POC is Mr. Lauren Nickel, 424-7600. Commanders Inspection Management Board Meeting, 17 October at 10:00 hours. Group commanders will attend in the Wing Conference Room. Squadron commanders will attend on ZoomGov. Chiefs Group Meeting, 17 October at 11:30 hours in the Wing Conference Room and ZoomGov. The POC is Chief Master Sergeant Tamplin, 424-1677. Tuition Assistance Briefing, 17 October at 1300 hours in Building 249, Bay B. The POC is Senior Master Sergeant Heather Craig, 424-2931. No sign-up required. Please show up with a mask. Self-Assessment Program Manager, or SAPM, training, 17 October from 1300 to 1400 hours in the 349th Operations Group Conference Room, Building 237, Bay D, 2nd floor. Please note, PPSM training immediately following. The POC is Chief Master Sergeant Andrea Young, 424-3275. Rising 6 meeting on Saturday, 17 October from 10:30 to 11:30 hours at the upstairs conference room at the Wing Building. Personal Financial Readiness Briefing, 17 October from 13:30 to 14:30 hours on ZoomGov. Air Force CPI Practical Problem Solving Model, or PPSM class, 17 October from 1400 to 1500 hours in the 349th Operations Group Conference Room, Building 237, Bay D, 2nd floor. Target audience: all unit members involved in developing corrective action plans, or anyone with a desire to improve their problem-solving skills using a logical and proven method. The POC is Mr. Will Link, 424-4783. Wing Inspection Team Training, Initial and Refresher, 17 October from 1500 hours to 1600 hours in the 349th Operations Group Conference Room, Building 237, Bay D, 2nd floor. POC Chief Master Sergeant Andrea Young, 424-3275. Enlisted Development Session, Fitness and Nutrition, open to all ranks, on 18 October at 1100 hours on ZoomGov. The POCs are Chief Master Sergeant Serrano and Senior Master Sergeant Crowder, 424-3796. Meetings and training events. Saturday, 17 October 2020. Spouses Club Meeting, 17 October from 10:30 to 11:30 hours on ZoomGov. Please join us to meet other spouses, family members, and friends. We invite you to bring any questions you may have and/or suggestions. Topics for Commander Calls. Fitness assessments will resume 1 January 2021. UFPM meeting will be held during October UTA 2020. This meeting will provide updates on fitness assessment scheduling, fitness exemptions, required guidelines for internal fitness testing, and required equipment for internal fitness testing. PTL training will resume during the November and December UTAs in preparation of testing in 2021. Topics will be CPR, AED training, 20M hammer training, and AC measurements. The POC is Senior Master Sergeant Janet Westcott. 349th Air Mobility Wing Lodging, ALRS reservation and cancellation deadlines. Reservations for all UTAs. Wednesday by 23:59 PST post-primary UTA. Cancellations for UTAs. Tuesdays by 1200 hours PST week of scheduled UTA. Newcomers. If you are new to Travis Air Force Base and qualify for lodging under the Reserve Travel Radius Guideline, you will be assigned lodging your first UTA weekend. While attending the Saturday Newcomers Brief, the Automated Lodging Reservation System phone application will be discussed, and instructions on how to procure scheduled UTA reservations and other important information is included. Updates. UTA dates are listed in ALRS up to December 2020. Inventory from our contracted hotels is still being received. Some of you may attempt reservations and receive a message that there is no inventory. Please do not call our office when this happens. As we get more rooms, those who attempt prior to the deadline will be automatically assigned lodging before the UTA. Upcoming virtual meetings. First quarter unit lodging monitors meeting will be held virtually 18 October at 1000 hours on ZoomGov. Call 424-1800 or email 349amw.lodging@us.af.mil with your questions. 349 AMW Dining Facility. When can wing members eat at the DFAC? In UTA status. If on a rescheduled UTA, members must have an Air Force Form 40A to show the cashier. An electronic copy on their phone is acceptable. Without a 40A, the member will be charged for their meal. Please note, you will be charged if you are on the following types of status: annual tour, civilian status, and art status. Facts or frequently asked questions. What is ESM? Essential Station Messing is a member's meal card or a member's CAC card. What amounts of food are allowed? 1 entree, 2 sides, and 2 drinks. What happens if a member has too much? If using the ESM or CAC, a report is generated and reviewed monthly. Any member who was not in the proper status to use the ESM or CAC or who had more food than authorized will be contacted by finance for reimbursement via payroll deduction. For questions, please email 349fss.esm.dfac@us.af.mil. Chaplain Corps Survey. The 349th Air Mobility Wing Chapel Team requests 2 minutes of your time to complete a quick 5-question survey. Your feedback is appreciated and helps the team identify ways to best serve. Please use the link in the written version of this podcast. Restricted Area Badges. 349 security forces will be open on 17 and 18 October. Please ensure all required paperwork, Air Force Form IMT 2586 and DD Form FM 577, are completed and processed through 60th SFS Pass and ID, or you will not be seen. POC for 60th SFS Pass and ID is Kimberly Stoller, 424-6736. The 349th POC is Tech Sergeant Daniela Roses, 424-0800. The location is Building 381, 2nd floor, Wing C. UTA walk-in hours are Saturday, 0900 to 1200 hours, and Sunday, 0900 to 1200 hours. For special requests, please contact Senior Master Sergeant Teams, Master Sergeant Roberts, or Tech Sergeant Roses during the week. 349th Air Mobility Wing IGQ Complaints is looking for additional Wing IG staff to help address the concerns of our members and partners and keep Wing leadership apprised of significant issues pertaining to the readiness, discipline, and efficiency of every aspect of our mission. We are looking for an officer with the rank of Major to Lieutenant Colonel and a Senior NCO with the ranks of Master Sergeant to Chief who would like a career-broadening opportunity. If you are interested, please email Lieutenant Colonel Koo Kim or call 424-5298. Command Chief's Virtual Suggestion Box. Suggestion Box is anonymous and only the Command Chief receives the emails. The address is available in the written version of this podcast. Yellow Ribbon. Yellow Ribbon provides reservists and their families a forum to gather information on the resources and benefits available to them before and after deploying. Please contact Chief Master Sergeant Andrew Peel for the next Yellow Ribbon event schedule, location, eligibility, and details. Emails will be sent to the civilian and military email address of those who are eligible. Wing Org Box for Innovation. Got an idea on how to better do your job, to save money, or to improve a process? Your feedback is key. Share your ideas at 349th-amw.innovation.ideas@us.af.mil. Save the date. On 15 November at 1400 hours, Captain Melissa Boatwright will host a bold lecturette focusing on allyship. This event is open to all, but limited seating is available, so please register well in advance by using the link on the written version of this podcast. After registering and your seat is secured, you will receive a confirmation email containing information about joining the meeting. Many members in our community are looking for ways in which they can be more informed about issues relating to race, gender, and sexuality within our Air Force and broader communities. But let's face it, talking about these issues is hard and uncomfortable. This is our chance to come together to learn, practice, and grow in a brave space that we create together. Important phone numbers: On-Call Chaplain 707-290-0351. On-Call First Sergeant 707-290-2853. SARC 707-424-7272. Suicide Prevention Lifeline 800-273-8255. Crisis Text Line at www.crisistextline.org. This podcast is brought to you by the 349th Air Mobility Wing Public Affairs Office. If you would like to make a suggestion about future Pre Uta News Brief Bulletin podcasts, please email 349amwpa@us.af.mil. Thank you everyone and have a great UTA.